That was Bloodwater by Grandson, and somehow, someway, this is the first interview we're ever doing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Weird.
How funny is that?
Dude.
Just come out the gate with that.
Wow, that's bizarre.
Right?
I feel like we've been doing this adjacent to one another for like 3 years now, so it's pretty cool. Finally.
It's finally all happening.
It had to come together this way. It couldn't have come together any other way.
Exactly. And what a better artist to interview talking about Unsilent Night.
Woo!
Because we're heading down to Dallas for December 19th down in Dallas. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Unsilent Night with some of the most incredible up-and-comers in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought when I saw that the bill, it's like idobi Radio's class of 21. There's a lot of great artists. Kenny Hoopla I've worked with. Royal and the Serpent and I are about to go out on tour. Off the top of my head, yeah, like, there's a million artists on there that I'm like, oh, this is a whole bunch of my friends. Is Dwayne doing it?
Dwayne's doing it. I can't
it's gonna
wait.
be a crazy night. It's gonna be a crazy night. You guys should come. Somebody should come because I think that it's gonna be one of those tours. I mean, it's not a tour, it's a festival, but I think it's gonna be one of those things that you're gonna look back on in a year or two and be like, damn, like.
I'm going to say 6 months, and you're going to be like, how did all those artists come together?
Yeah, like, whoa. I think so, too. And it's cool that you're going to be hosting it, man.
I can't wait. And I can't wait to see you play live, because I think the last 2 times I've seen you play, one, I saw you play at the Roxy, and then the other time I saw you at 1720 with Youngblood.
Oh, wow.
So it's been a minute besides you coming in
ago.
for the XXY sessions, which were so much fun to do, and such an honor we got to see you play, and you were hosting it here.
Yeah, early 2020. Little did we know what was to come. That was a great time. I feel so welcome here amongst the community. I feel as though I'm a little bit of an outsider coming from hip hop my whole life, and to have like a kind of clubhouse that I can come make some music in and just shine light on other incredible artists has been a real treat. A real treat, Fish.
It's been awesome, and just seeing you grow with Death of an Optimist, and just the original music going through, because you started more in the SoundCloud type lane, right?
Yeah, to some degree, absolutely. I was doing more just like kind of darker stuff, hip hop, and then as I started making more music, I was just leaning into darker and darker influences, listening to bands like Rage Against the Machine, but then also stuff like System of a Down that I never really grew up on. I feel kind of blasphemous, but when I'm at emo night, I'm like, I don't know how to tell anyone here, but I missed that phase. Like I never had the big hair or anything like that. I just was like a little white Jewish stoner listening to Biggie when I was like 14. But
sounds like my dad, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. So now, when I was like 25, 26, I was like really starting to listen to some of these bands, and it was long overdue, man. And as I started playing more as Grandson and I started building a relationship to my fans, I started taking a whole new interest in, well, what did they listen to? What did Grandson fans come up on? And that's a crazy, crazy place that music can take you, because I think that I carved out my own lane in our genre by being such an outsider, but for me to be able to really understand who is embracing me and helping me along the way, I have to know where they came from and where this sound came from, where, white dudes singing angsty songs with their guitars, like that's been happening for a long time, and it's about time that I got put on game. So, yeah, crazy.
You're reverse engineering people's musical tastes, and I love it.
Yeah, I'm trying. And yeah, there's so much to learn. There's so much great music out there. And for a lot of people, this current wave, whether it's pop punk or alternative music, for a lot of people that don't have the history there, it is new. But you go back, 15 years, and there's all kinds of great bands that are finally now getting their shine and getting their exposure. I know you know all about that.
Oh, yeah. Like, my favorite case is Acceptance. 10 years after their album came out, people finally started listening to it.
Right. And then you're finally getting your flowers, and thankfully some of those artists are alive to feel it. I mean, I'm going on tour with Avril Lavigne in 2022. That's a great example of an artist that, we all knew 2 or 3 songs in our childhood, and she's still been out there making music, and now all of a sudden people are coming back around, and it has this element of nostalgia, and people are buying these tickets like crazy, and you're like, Fuck yeah. Avril is a fucking queen. She's been a queen the whole time. I just did a song with Kesha.
Hell yeah,
Kesha's
you
like,
did.
you know, done more for gay and trans rights and women's rights. And she's like, that's rock and roll. That's activism. And so to see her getting her shine, I just think it's a better world when we give these women, especially in the era of Britney, and we misunderstood and mislabeled so many artists from the early 2000s as problematic, or they're like, you know, divas or something. And it's cool to see these artists finally getting the respect they deserve.
Exactly. And these artists are incredible. And just seeing you out on tour with legends, because not only are you touring with Avril Lavigne, you're touring with the Deftones.
Yep.
So you yourself are a legend. When people talk about
man.
Grandson, I'm like, he's a fucking legend. Like, this dude has done so much in such a short period of time, not only making just such incredible ways of people learning to be active in the community and everything. Like, you do it in a cool way. The only way I understand how to learn is by not telling someone they're learning and just educating them. And I really admire that about you and how you do it.
Thank you, man.
You're going out on tour with these legends, and you're the legend in the making right now.
Hope so. I need a couple more tunes, couple more songs to be the soundtrack of somebody's childhood, and then when they grow up, hopefully you start getting those flowers. But you know, it's cool. Like I'm touring next year with Imagine Dragons, Avril Lavigne, and Deftones, and there's not a lot of artists that can fluidly move through, you know, power stadium alternative pop, nostalgic pop punk, and like heavy grungy dark alternative riffy shit. And I feel like I have 3 different sets that can speak to those genres. And it's always been a gamble of mine. Like when I first came on the scene and was beginning to get this like kind of new Rage Against the Machine label, I very much pushed against it, did a lot more singing and a lot more songs about my relationship to mental health and things that weren't necessarily super on the nose, political, Rage Against the Machine style, because I do have a lot of different influences. Like I said at the beginning of this interview, like I came into as an outsider. So now it was a gamble in that it was harder for people to really know, okay, if I'm a fan of Grandson, what am I going to get? Am I going to get political? Am I going to get mental health, relationships? Like, what is it? And you can kind of risk diluting yourself in this era where people's attention spans are so finite, so short. But here I am a couple years later, and I'm able to be in a lot of different spaces at once, because from the beginning, I made sure that people understood that I'm not going to be one-dimensional. It is going to be more nuanced and complicated. So to anyone out there trying to carve their lane, I think you have to find your angle in to people's, you know, playlists and their hearts, but as soon as you can, start experimenting and growing, because we as music fans, anyone that is a fan of this show has such a broad range of music we love, and it's really exciting for me to look at next year and see how many different parts of myself get to come out on stage. It's gonna be really fun.
Hell yeah! And you said how people don't know what to expect, whether it be about mental health, political, or whatever else. But I think everyone could always expect it being real and authentic, which is the most important part.
Cool. Yeah, that's just a matter of like, fuck. I mean, some songs will surprise you and how people relate to them, and some will disappoint you, let you down as far as expectations go. But I've been very, very lucky to have like really strong foundations around me that just, if I just put my head down and just keep making music and keep being as real with people as I can, then you just can't lose, because at least it's on your terms. Because even if I was to be a fake version of myself to win, and then I do get more fans, but then I have to perform as this different version of myself, like, I won't be happy.
Nope.
And I think that with the scene being so much more open about mental health, it's like you just got to do what makes you happy, and not chase what compromising will get you, because it won't feel good when you get there. So I'm trying to just keep it real, and it's a long process. I'm coming up on 5 years of Bloodwater being out. That song dropped at the end of 2017, beginning of 2018, and we're going into 2022. It's like, where the fuck does the time go? All of a sudden, the scene has been around for a minute, and yeah, so I feel really lucky that we've been able to do it real, and that there's so many great artists coming up, you know, as we're going to see at Unsilent Night. There's so many great artists that in just the past couple months, are taking what we started. I look at my graduating class of me and Youngblood and other artists from like that 2018 kind of period, and now people are taking that and growing on it, and it's exciting to see. So hopefully, as I continue to headline, I can be that mentor. I can bring people up. I can't tell you how many artists I know that I'll just hit up if I see them appearing frustrated or exhausted with the process, and just remind them it's a marathon, and tell people to keep their head up, and trying to collaborate, not just opening for these big iconic artists, but also with younger artists looking to get that first exposure, trying to amplify and promote new music. I love it. I love this shit.
Hell yeah. And coming up on the 5-year of Bloodwater and all your recent success, I got you a little gift.
No.
I did.
No, dude.
I got you your fever hat you left here before quarantine.
Wow! Oh my God.
I've been saving it in the control room this whole time.
I have thought about this hat so many times. The fever hat. The Fever 333 hat. Ladies and gentlemen, I used to come into the office here and have my own little podcast, and I used to wear this hat all the time. I loved this hat. And then one day, the hat just vanished. And then the pandemic happened. Yeah. It was like, honestly, this hat might have started the COVID pandemic, because lost the hat, bam, pandemic.
Done. You were the last artist in studio, too.
And everyone was like, oh no, this pandemic and my mask and vaccine. And I was like, oh no, my hat. Like, fuck this pandemic. Where is the fever hat? And Fish had it the whole time.
While we were cleaning the office, anyone's like, anyone know whose this is? I'm like, I know exactly whose hat this is.
This is grandson's fever hat. Listen to me, Jason. Yo, get me the fact that I didn't get another one. I thought we were homies. Steve, Jason, Fever. Give me some new merch, man. Why do I gotta wait 2 years for Fish to fish this thing out of the trash?
Hey,
I'm so excited right now.
If you never came back here, it would have been in one of those boxes like at Hard Rock Cafe.
Yes. Yes. Grandson's fever hat in brackets 2020. Pre-pandemic.
Exactly.
This thing might actually have COVID on
it. we should scrub it a few times.
Yeah, it's looking a little musty.
So with Death of an Optimist.
That's so funny.
And it dropped literally such perfect timing where everyone lost complete optimism.
Yeah.
And
picked a perfect time for my debut album, right?
Yeah.
Going into Christmas at a time where no one could go see live music. It was a funny timing, but I really did just ultimately feel like in 2020 it was kind of all I had to get me out of bed in the morning. There was a stretch there where I was just so fucking angry and depressed and confused, and waking up and working on this album was what gave me a sense of purpose, and I felt like I owed it to the people that were supporting me for the past couple of years, who were just kind of bored sitting at home, waiting for their, thing to look forward to. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just put this album out now and then go make another one. I'm in a very rambly mood. I think it's this coffee. Sorry, I've been talking a lot, man.
You made my job so easy.
Sorry. I didn't even let you finish your question. What were you even going to say? I don't even know.
Who cares?
Fuck. Sorry about that.
No, it's all good.
A lot of cold brew.
It's all good. And the imagery behind the album is just absolutely incredible. From the video for Dirty is one of my favorite music videos of the year. And just like the painted face and the suit and everything, like kind of like a Joker vibe in a way. And It's just like, damn, it's so good. Like the choreography.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. Well, first off, shouts out Ashley Osborne.
One of the best out there.
Dear friend of the show. She and I were working together in kind of all the photography, the album artwork, etc. Shouts out Carl, Suge, and the team behind those couple music videos I did for the album. It was an ambitious project, and again, I just had so much goddamn time on my hands. I was just sitting at home, and normally as I'm working on album 2, I can feel the pressure of like, wow, I'm going to spend so much time on tour next year. When and how am I going to find the bandwidth to be able to make this big conceptual project and have all this time to map out these videos in different locations? I knew in the pandemic, because I had all this time, it felt like as good a time as any to try and be really ambitious with a creative project that was world building and gave me this alter ego and antagonist. And, On one hand, it's like there's been so many iterations of rock and roll alter egos. It's certainly not the most like groundbreaking idea, but it was just a really fun, satisfying way for me to flesh it out, because I think a lot of political music, if you listen to artists that use a lot of they are trying to keep us down, but we will not. It's all so vague, and I was so like mad at myself for starting to indulge in that. A lot of we versus them, which is just I just think it's like very low hanging fruit. Like it's easy. And so I was like, as I go into this new project, I don't want to make a whole album about they and then keep they super vague. Like, who is my antagonist? Who is it that I'm struggling against when I am fighting against my mental health, fighting against the feeling like I just want to give up? And that was where this other character named X came from while making the album. It became obvious, there really are two sides of me, one of which wants me to just stay home, wants me to just turn off the TV, turn off the news because it's all so goddamn depressing. And then there's another voice in me that says, no, this is literally by design. These institutions that we're up against and our bosses and the authority figures in our lives that keep us feeling this like numbness, that is to avoid the discomfort of growth. So setting my album up as this kind of clash between this side of myself that likes to just stay home and do bad drugs and do bad things and think bad thoughts, and the other side of me that says, no, get the fuck up and go get it. That was kind of, and again, as you said, like the timing of it, that was what so many of us were going through like 8 months into this pandemic. I think now there's a lot of hope, and, being vaccinated, getting our booster shots, makes me feel a little more confident that I can go back to living my life and announcing these tours and stuff. But man, the end of last year was just crazy. I can't even believe we did that.
We made it through.
Yeah.
We put in the work.
That's crazy. And if you're listening, you did that too. That's crazy. You're a crazy person that you made it through the pandemic. Like, you're a sicko. I can't believe you did that. That's amazing.
Insane.
Yeah. And so that's what that album is about.
Now you have a deluxe edition dropping as well.
I did have a deluxe version. I probably should have warned you. I don't have any more though. That's
you
okay.
Had a deluxe edition.
I definitely did. And it was funny because I scheduled a bunch of interviews to promote this deluxe album that I'm not doing anymore. Basically, what happened was, for context, now that this is coming out after the fact and I could talk about it, I didn't really have a ton going on at the beginning of next year. And it was like, well, I guess we should take some of the demos that didn't make the album and some of the songs that I think I've written in the past year that I'm not sure are going to make my next album, and let's just put together a little EP, and there you go. There's your deluxe album. And then all of a sudden, Imagine Dragons gave us a call and wanted me to come open on this arena tour, and then we managed to find, like, all of a sudden 5 weeks to go across America, and then we got the Avril thing, and I was like, holy shit, I don't think we have time to just be throwing out a bunch of songs and not giving people a music video and a plan, and we don't half-ass shit around here.
Yeah.
I'd rather whole-ass one thing than half-ass like 4 things. So that was why we decided, all right, let's just blow it up. Maybe I'll put one song out like in January, but like I need a tour manager. Oh my God, I have like a tour coming up. Like I got to go find my toothbrush. Like that's so now I'm just kind of preparing for these shows and getting work done on my next album. So, but let's pretend. Yeah. I got new music. Dropping soon.
Either way, I want to hear it down in Dallas.
Oh, for sure.
We'll take an Uber together to a bar, and you can play me the songs.
Oh, enough said. Enough said. We're gonna be turned up for sure.
Yeah. Unsilent Night, once again, happening December 19th down in Dallas. It's going to be absolutely incredible. One of the best lineups I've seen for a single day festival, maybe ever.
I really do think to anybody that's on the fence about it, I remember when it dropped, I was like, damn, am I one of the headliners? This shit can't be that big if I'm one of the headliners. But then as I look down the list, it's really like bottom heavy. Like there's a lot of really great music that people are just finding out about. Whoever booked this thing, I think, did a really good job of representing where the scene is about to be, if that makes sense. So to anybody who is a fan of alternative music and is unsure, I don't know, Dallas, the show, it's going to be pretty sick, I think. And it's going to be my last show of the year, so I got nothing to rest up for. I'm going hard. So
hell yeah.
It's going to be really fun. It's going to be really fun. If you can, come. If you can't, that's okay too. I'll be in your city soon. So don't buy tickets for them. Buy tickets for me. I would appreciate that.
Hell
you
yeah.
sexy beast, you.
Everyone, go see Grandson at Unsilent Night. And then on the massive tours he's doing next year, which are going to be absolutely incredible. I can't wait to bother you every single tour for a guest
Fish,
list.
what's up, bro? I mean, I've been bothering you for guest lists for like 3 years now. You got to return the favor. Let's go.
I got to come out. I want to come out to
Are
a
we going
show.
to do another one of these soon?
Fuck yeah, we are.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's get you in studio again. Let's do the whole thing.
Let's drink coffee and ramble. I love it.
Exactly. And grab some tacos after too, because too much
Okay.
caffeine in your system, not too great.
No, got that.
Amazing. So it's just Grandson across the board, all social media for the most part.
That's right.
Hell yeah. And I want to play one more song for you before I let you get going. And what
Okay.
song do you want that to be?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Play Drop Dead featuring Kesha and Travis Barker.
Here's Drop Dead featuring Kesha and Travis Barker by Grandson. And I'll see you in Dallas.
See ya.